everyone. So for those of you who don't know, June is Pride Month. And normally at the library during this time, we would be doing book displays and programming around Pride Month, celebrating LGBTQ populations, but also just kind of celebrating people for being themselves and being able to be who you are. Unfortunately, even though we are starting curbside next week, you won't be in the building. And so the book displays and the programs that we normally do can't happen right now. So I wanted to bring a little bit of Pride Month to my book talks. So I wanted to focus on something that I actually came to as a television show on Netflix, an adaptation. And it turns out it's an adaptation of a very classic book in LGBTQ literature called Tales of the City by Armistead Maupin. And it's sort of, there are a number of books, actually. That's the first one. And then there are further Tales of the City and some other books that follow it. They're vignettes. It's all focused around this house. It's really a group of apartments attached to a house on Barbary Lane. And the woman who is responsible for the home owns it, and the landlady, who becomes kind of an ersatz mom to all of the people that end up in her apartments. And usually the people who end up there are they're exceedingly lucky because it turns out to be a wonderful place to live, but they usually come there through hard times. And so there's a lot of storytelling about each individual person and their very different backgrounds and the reasons that they're there, and how this place, this Barbary Lane, takes on this kind of magical element of this place where they are seen and loved and kind of reborn in a way into a hopefully a much brighter future. And so it really has a lot of hope in it. There are some tough stories, as is often the case. Particularly, this is written initially in the 70s. And so LGBTQ populations had a much harder time, not that it's not difficult now, but had a much harder time in the 70s and weren't allowed legally to be out or protected by laws. And so this book really was a groundbreaking piece of literature, and Netflix has adapted it. So there were both an older version that came out not long after the books, and then a newer version, which is a continuation of the story, and they're both on Netflix. So that's how I came to them. But I would highly encourage you to read the books and check out the show, because Olympia Dukakis plays the landlady in the show, and she's fabulous. It made you laugh, it made you cry, it was kind of all of the good things, and such a great representation of this awesome LGBTQ work, a seminal work, I feel like, and I really loved it. So if you go onto our Hoopla account, which I'm going to show you, you can look up not only this book, but the books that followed it about the same group of people and the apartments at Barbary Lane. And then definitely check out Netflix if you haven't yet, because it's just a wonderful story. And I really think it's a great celebration for Pride Month. So we're going to go check out Hoopla, and then we'll come back and I'll say my goodbyes. And then we're getting all ready because we have curbside service starting this Wednesday. So yeah, let's go check out that stuff on Hoopla.
Okay, so we've logged into Hoopla. And as you'll see, I searched for Tales of the City in the search function, which is the little magnifying glass that says search in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And it's pulled up a whole bunch of books. So the first is the Tales of the City, which is the original book. And it's both in audiobook and ebook form, so you can take your pick. And then there are some of the other titles, further Tales of the City, more Tales of the City. I believe there are 9 in the whole series that he wrote about this address, 28 Barbary Lane, and Anna Madrigal, who is the mom/landlady of this piece of property, who has a fascinating story in and of herself, and you learn all about that through the books. You'll also see in the second row on the right-hand side, there is a television entry, because that initial TV adaptation they made is available on Hoopla, also on Netflix. And then there is also a second updated version on Netflix that is a continuation of the stories in later years. So many of the same actors came back, and they're really wonderful. So when you scroll down, you'll see many of them are available in audiobook, but there are also ebooks of many of them. The Days of Anna Madrigal, that's the one about the landlady. 28 Barbary Lane is the address. So I think there are 9 in the series. You can also search for the author, and it will pull up other books that he wrote. And it tells you right here, I love this feature of Hoopla. It'll tell you some about them. So he is the author of the 9-volume Tales of the City series. And And his other novels include Maybe the Moon and The Night Listener. He was the 2012 recipient of the Lambda Literary Foundation's Pioneer Award, and he lives in San Francisco with his husband. So these are really considered seminal works in the LGBTQ canon, and I think for good reason. They were very groundbreaking. So I hope you get to check them out. And if you like them, there are plenty here to read, and also maybe some of his other literature. And if you need any other suggestions beyond that, please let me know.
Okay, so we've looked at what's available on Hoopla. You can all check it out. Again, no holds on Hoopla, so everybody can read it at the same time if they want. And we could definitely have a discussion, or I wish we were at a place where we could have a screening of the show at the library. We can't right now, but maybe we can in a future moment. So please check it out. Tell me what you thought. It's not a new book, but it's a book that was new to me and hopefully new to some of you. And I really think it'll give you some window into some other experiences, and also just really, I found it so uplifting and heart-wrenching, and all of the good things, all of the feelings that we have right now. So I think it's just a great celebration, and I hope that you all enjoy it. And happy Pride Month from the library. We can't wait to see you. Curbside starts this Wednesday, so start placing your holds by emailing or calling us. And Mid-Hudson Library System is restarting the delivery on June 22nd. So it's not that long till you can go about it the way you used to and get anything from in the system. So we're really looking forward to it. We can't wait to see you. And I will talk to you next week.